After the Tennessee militia arrived in Natchez, the War Department ordered General Jackson to dismiss his troops. The order did not provide any authorization for Jackson to lead his men home, nor did it provide funding for food, medicines, or transportation for the soldiers. According to Jackson's aide-de-camp, some of the young boys who had fallen ill with tears in their eyes begged Jackson not to abandon them 500 miles from home. Jackson refused to abandon his men. He said,
"I led them into the field, and I will at all risk and hazard lead them home."
Jackson used his personal credit to borrow funds for limited supplies for the troops. He also confiscated 11 baggage wagons from the Army to transport soldiers who were too sick to walk. On March 25, 1813, more than 2,000 soldiers began their return on the Natchez Trace. Food was in short supply. The infantry sometimes march up to a half-mile a day in waist-high swamps. Jackson provided his own horses for the use of the sick, and he walked all but 20 miles of the trip back to Tennessee. A soldier commented that Jackson was as tough as Hickory, and soon most of the troops were calling the general Old Hickory as a term of respect. When the troops' families learned of their plight, money was raised to buy food and to supply wagons and horses to meet the men at the Tennessee River. Soldiers who were too ill to be moved were left at the ends along the trace with details to care for them. Those who did not survive are buried near the places where they died. Many soldiers returned home in tattered uniforms and worn-out boots, regretting that they had accomplished nothing for their sacrifices. Jackson had even been told his men would not be paid for their service. However, funds arrived to pay the men shortly after their return. Jackson said that though his men had not met the enemy, they had nevertheless offered their lives in service to their country. What Jackson and the troops would not know at this time is that the men had gained valuable experience that would be used in campaigns only a few months later. And Jackson had gained important military leadership skills. Most importantly, he had earned the respect of the men he would later lead into battle. From that march forward, they called him Old Hickory. The hickory tree in the center of the site was planted by the Tennessee Society of U.S. Daughters of 1812 on the bicentennial of the soldiers' return in 1813.